This video is brought to you by Metal Deep, a sci-fi fantasy book series. Hey guys, Josh at Bane Tech, and I've got the Note 4 review for this video. I'm just going to basically go over what I don't like and what I do like about the phone, so let's go ahead and get right on into it. I'm going to compare a lot of this to the Note 3 because it's definitely an upgrade from the Note 3. I'm not going to really get into specs or anything like that. If you want specs, I'll leave a link down below for you to read over, but I'll cover some of the basics as I talk about it. So let's get into what I don't like, and I'm going to get into some of the physical parts of the phone, then I'll get into the software. The physical parts, while the design is definitely a nice upgrade from the Note 3, getting rid of that plastic edge, there's a metal edge now. It just seems like this edge here, the chamfered edges, they kind of get, not dinged up, but you could tell that they kind of get worn in. I know it's probably something to expect, but I would just prefer it to look, nice and fine the whole time. It's a minor little thing. It's just something I don't like about it. It's not a big deal. It's definitely not a deal breaker. I always have a case on the phone anyways. After using the Nexus 6, I really enjoyed having all the buttons on one side versus having two sides. It just helps with that one-handed use in case you still just like to use the phone one-handed, no matter how big the phone is. Probably the biggest thing that I don't like about this phone, and again, it could be just a small thing, but I don't like how they changed the menu button here. There used to be a menu button on the Note 3 and even some of the other Galaxy devices. Now it's just a recent apps kind of shortcut, and I thought that was kind of pointless to me because you can do that with the other ways of putting it onto the phone, either like a double tap somewhere or long pressing on the menu button, I think was the option. And I just like having the menu button more than a recent apps. It just seems like you don't get as much full function that you could out of a button area. If you're going to have a button down here, let's make it actually useful. It's kind of like they reversed it, because if you do long press it, it gives you these settings options here with whatever wallpaper, manage apps, Nova settings, and your system settings. I tended to like to have the menu button right away versus a recent apps. After using the Nexus 6 or other devices that have speakers on the bottom or on the front, they have the speaker on the back, and it's just not a good placement for me, because if you're watching a video, you have it facing this way, obviously you would probably want the speakers over here, or at least on the bottom edge of it, because what you end up having to do is, this is a little trick that I've learned, is you cup your hand like this so the sound kind of carries and bounces around your hand. That's how I've had to manage the sound. And it doesn't sound that great. I mean, it's loud, but it doesn't sound nearly as good as what the HTC One M8 or the Nexus 6 provides. That about does it for the physical side of this phone. There's not much I don't like about it. Some of it's just really minor things, I guess you could say. But let's go ahead and talk about what I do like about the phone. As I mentioned before, this is definitely a nice upgrade from the Note 3 that took away a lot of the plastic, put some metal on it. It has a really nice premium feel to it. I really enjoy the look of this device. I'll probably just go ahead and say that this is probably the best phone on the market in my opinion. It's got the best feel, it's got the best build quality in my opinion. Even though it's got some plastic, it still feels premium. It's got the best camera on the market. Samsung phones just take really good pictures. I think the next best, or even maybe a tiebreaker, would be the iPhone 6 Plus. Between the two, they take really nice pictures. It really just comes down to a preference. Do you like the Samsung camera or do you like the iPhone, how they turn out? Both of them have phenomenal pictures. It's definitely the best in the market in my opinion. I really like how the buttons feel. They have a nice tactile feel to it, and it just has been really good for me. I just like how they feel, and they work really good with the case as well. The other thing I like about this phone is that the screen looks really nice. The 2K screen, I guess like some people had some skepticism about whether you're going to be able to tell if it's a 1080p or a 2K, but let me just tell you, like, I think you can definitely tell the difference, and there's just this nice crispness on the screen. I really like it. The 5.7-inch screen, it's a nice size. I came from the Nexus 6 going to use this, and I could actually feel the difference between the 5.9-inch and the 5.7-inch screen. So it was definitely interesting to me that I could feel that this was, I'm not saying it's a small phone, but it was definitely smaller than the Nexus 6. But I think it's a good size screen. The screen looks good, so those are definitely some positives that this phone has. Now obviously this has the Note features with the S Pen. It's pretty good. I've enjoyed some of the features. Most of the time if I use the S Pen, it's for the screen capture, because I can, you get your screenshot kind of thing going, and then you can draw on the screen. You can highlight stuff. If you're in business, there's a lot of nice functionality that you can get with an S Pen, just to be able to do some productivity. If, let's say, you're editing something, let's say a document, just pretend like something's misspelled right here, you can circle it and tell someone to fix it. If you're doing photos, maybe you need to clean up this area of the photo. I mean, there's just a lot of different possibilities that you can get with this S Pen. Some of the other features is action memo, and that's just a way to get to basically a note-taking app. You can either just do some normal writing, or you can just save notes. It's a nice note-taking app. Another cool thing that you can do with this is a smart select, and you can really do some pretty cool stuff with this. You can select just portions of a picture or part of a screen, whatever screen that you're working with, and then you can have it float around. So there's some pretty cool stuff you can do with that. You can save it to your scrapbook, or you can actually just share it with somebody. So let's say like that was an area that you wanted to share, you can just go through your different apps here for emails, social networks, and so forth. Now the image clip is pretty cool because you can basically just kind of draw around here. I'm not going to do like a perfect job, just kind of show the capability of it. And it crops it out for you. And that's just really cool to me. I was able to actually create a profile picture for my daughter's YouTube channel. I think it was pretty neat. And that's just really cool to me that you can do that with the S Pen now. It's a pretty cool feature. So I'm not really going to get into all the functions of the S Pen, but just kind of show you what I like about it. There's some different stuff that you can do with them, a lot of different productivity kind of options that you have to go with it. Now, in the past, I've not really been that much of a fan of TouchWiz, but I don't mind this version of it that much. It actually looks a lot cleaner. It's got that more minimal look, some of the flat looks that we're kind of wanting these days, and I like that part about it. It's not, I don't know, like TouchWiz looked like gingerbread back in the day. It just really needed a revamp, and I hear that in a lot of different, some of the releases and rumors floating around that when Android 5.0 hits the Galaxy Note 4 and even the S5, that you're going to see some nice upgrades to looking like an Android Lollipop versus a Samsung TouchWiz kind of look. So I'm really looking forward to see what that looks like in the days to come. Now, just to let you know, I always throw on Nova Launcher, so it's not going to be what you get out of the box. I just like Nova Launcher. There's a lot more customization that you can get with it. Anyways, I'm not going to do a Nova Launcher review, but that's how I use the phone, and that's what I like about it. Another feature that I think is pretty cool is the heart rate sensor. Now, while I'm not like this health freak or nothing like that, I thought it's pretty cool to be able to check my pulse, check my stress levels, and all that kind of stuff. I found myself actually getting interested in that stuff because I had it, and that's a first for me. Let's talk about the camera real quick. The camera is phenomenal. What's really cool about the camera is that in the past, a lot of us really did complain about bloatware, what Samsung and Verizon and all those kind of companies throw on our phones, but what they did with the camera is that there's a lot of different options that you can get with it, but you can download some of them. It doesn't come pre-installed with them all on there, and I thought that was really cool that they did that. You can download different functions. That's actually a picture I took this morning because I was playing bass and my finger rubbed up a blister. It's been a while since I played, but it was some pretty intense music going on. So anyway, side note, back to the camera. So you go back to the mode here, you scroll through all the options, and then you can download some. It brings you to an app store, and you can choose some different options here. So that's really cool to me that you don't have to have all that stuff on there, but if you want it, it's available. So to me, Samsung really stepped up their game with the Note 4. I definitely think it's the best phone that they've ever released. It's probably the best phone on the market right now, in my opinion. And it's because they are kind of honing it back to Android, not really trying to make it their own thing, and they're trying to keep the user in mind, not pushing their own agenda as much. Now, they do still do some of their stuff, but it's not as bad as what it's been in the past. So that's pretty much going to wrap it up for this video. It was not, too much to complain about, so which is a good thing, but there's still some things that I wish were different on it. Let me know in the comments what you think about this phone, if this is something that you've picked up, what you enjoy about it, what you don't like about it. If you have another phone that you think is better than this one, let me know in the comments as well. This has been my Note 4 review. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you have not subscribed yet, please do so you can see more videos like this.